Money is often perceived as permanent, yet history shows it is fragile. From ancient Rome's silver debasement to hyperinflation in Weimar Germany, currency has repeatedly failed. When it does, societies do not collapse entirely. Instead, hidden economies emerge, where trust, barter, and ingenuity replace coins and notes. The moment money stops functioning is the moment trust is tested. Banks fail, governments falter, and ordinary people must rediscover alternative systems of survival. In such times, communities return to age-old practices, bartering, local currencies, and informal networks. Barter is not primitive, it is adaptive. Even today, when formal economies collapse, goods and services become the standard of exchange. Skills, labor, food, and tools gain new value. In hidden economies, utility surpasses money, and practical resources are the true currency. In collapsed economies, community becomes wealth. Social trust allows people to borrow, lend, and share resources without official currency. Neighborhoods, guilds, and families form informal financial systems where reputation and honor replace coins. Communities create their own money. Cigarettes in prisons, beads in Africa, or shells in Pacific Islands have historically functioned as currency. Today, local tokens, digital credits, and crypto act as modern hidden currencies. These forms of money thrive where official currency fails. Hidden economies often operate in shadows. Informal markets and black markets emerge where official structures fail. These economies are risky but essential for survival, allowing goods and services to flow when standard institutions cannot provide. When money loses its power, skills become the most valuable currency. Carpenters, healers, and teachers trade their expertise for essentials. Knowledge transforms into tangible value, creating a society where human capital replaces minted coins. Hidden economies often revive ancient trade routes. Goods move along informal paths, bypassing official channels. Rivers, roads, and hidden pathways become arteries of survival, connecting communities that would otherwise perish. In a world without money, ethics become currency. Honesty, reciprocity, and trust determine who thrives. The moral economy enforces rules without law, relying on social bonds and communal oversight to maintain order. From the Roman collapse to modern hyperinflation, hidden economies have repeatedly emerged. They demonstrate that money is not the ultimate measure of civilization. Human ingenuity, cooperation, and adaptability are the true constants that allow life to continue when money fails. Economic collapses are not gentle. They tear through formal structures, rendering banks and governments powerless. But they also spark ingenuity. In Venezuela, Zimbabwe, or post-Soviet Russia, citizens rapidly adapted, inventing informal systems to exchange essentials. Crisis reveals the resilience hidden in ordinary people. When national currencies fail, communities often introduce local currencies. These can be physical or digital, backed by trust rather than gold. Examples include time banking systems in Europe or local credit networks in South America, proving that economies can thrive without central authority. Barter is ancient, but modern crises revive it with new sophistication. Farmers trade food for medical care. Technicians exchange labor for services. Social networks often help coordinate trades, creating a parallel economy invisible to governments but vital to survival. The internet revolutionized survival economies. In times of currency collapse, online platforms facilitate barter, microloans, and local trade. Bitcoin and crypto often act as digital lifeboats, allowing people to transact across borders without relying on failing national systems. Hidden economies rely on informal labor. Cleaners, delivery workers, and artisans provide services outside official payrolls. These networks ensure that communities function even when formal employment vanishes. The currency is trust, the wages are essentials, and survival is the reward. When official supply chains fail, black markets thrive. They are often misunderstood as purely criminal, but in hidden economies, they supply essentials, distribute medicine, and sustain life. The shadow economy, though illegal, is a safety net where formal structures collapse. Hidden economies are not without challenges. Trust can break, competition can become violent, and scarcity can cause friction. Yet despite these obstacles, communities often innovate, creating self-regulating systems based on honor, reciprocity, and shared survival strategies. In modern crises, skills replace money. A carpenter, nurse, or mechanic becomes invaluable. Labor is measured in immediate utility rather than wages, and the most adaptable individuals rise as informal leaders in these hidden economies. Even as hidden economies flourish, governments remain an ever-present shadow. They may attempt to suppress informal markets, introduce emergency currency, or impose regulations. Yet the people's ingenuity often outpaces the state, showing that society can persist without money, though not always without tension. Modern hidden economies demonstrate a universal truth. Money is not the lifeblood of society, people are. Communities adapt, networks evolve, and survival depends on trust, skill, and innovation. While governments can fail, human ingenuity persists. The hidden economy is not a relic. It is a blueprint for enduring crises. Hyperinflation is the most extreme betrayal of money. Prices rise faster than wages, savings vanish, and trust evaporates. From Weimar Germany to Zimbabwe, people experience not merely financial loss, but a collapse of daily reality. Money stops working, and survival becomes urgent. In the late 2000s, Zimbabwe's currency became almost meaningless. Citizens resorted to bartering, foreign currency, and creative trade. Every loaf of bread could cost billions in local currency. In this chaos, the hidden economy, informal markets, small-scale barter, and foreign remittances became the backbone of survival. Venezuela offers another vivid example. With hyperinflation in the hundreds of thousands of %, people abandoned bolivars for dollars, pesos, or barter. Grocery lines, street markets, and community networks emerged as the real economy, replacing money with engine. After World War I, Germany faced catastrophic inflation. Citizens burned banknotes for fuel and carried baskets of money to buy bread. Amid this collapse, small businesses, community cooperatives, and informal trade networks kept society functional, revealing how human resilience outpaces currency. The collapse of the Soviet Union brought shortages, rationing, and the rise of informal trade. Citizens turned to Blatt, an underground system of favors and bartering, to secure goods. Here, relationships and trust became more valuable than rubles, demonstrating how hidden economies thrive when official currency fails. When national currencies collapse, international networks provide relief. Remittances from relatives abroad become lifelines. Money may fail locally, but trust and family ties create cross-border hidden economies, sustaining communities and preserving livelihoods. In collapsed economies, anything with intrinsic value can become currency: food, fuel, tools, and medicine. Communities innovate, creating informal marketplaces and alternative units of value. These systems are adaptive, often surviving long after formal currency has failed. Underground markets provide not just goods but stability. They create predictable patterns, allow communities to function, and enable survival. These networks often become self-regulating, enforcing fairness and trust even without legal authority. Survival demands creativity. People craft new forms of exchange: printed tokens, time banks, and barter ledgers. In extreme conditions, ingenuity itself becomes currency. Hidden economies prove that value is a human construct, not a number on a note. Across the globe, in every collapse, one constant emerges: the human spirit refuses to surrender to failing money. Communities adapt, networks form, and life continues. Hidden economies are not anomalies. They are proof that society's resilience lies in people, not currency. In the glittering cities of the modern West, stability is an illusion. Behind skyscrapers, credit systems, and online banking lies a delicate structure, an economy of promises, not production. When these promises falter, when wages stagnate and costs rise, the hidden economy awakens, even in the heart of capitalism. When the global financial system collapsed in 2008, millions lost jobs, homes, and savings. Yet even as Wall Street was bailed out, ordinary people turned to one another. Informal networks shared housing, under-their-table work. Small barter communities re-emerged across America and Europe. From Uber drivers to freelancers and street vendors, the gig economy represents the modern hidden economy, legal but fragile. It thrives on flexibility yet exposes how the formal job market no longer sustains everyone. In truth, millions survive through informal labor disguised as innovation. In Greece, Italy, and Spain, economic austerity bred black markets for labor, food, and medicine. Families traded favors, farmers exchanged crops, and doctors worked privately for cash. These were not crimes, they were acts of survival in a system that had failed its citizens. In Japan's long economic stagnation, dignity often masked desperation. Many citizens lived in net cafe shelters or worked under-the-table jobs. Despite its modernity, Japan developed a quiet informal economy, one sustained by human cooperation and unspoken social bonds. Cryptocurrency, encrypted transactions, and peer-to-peer trade created a new hidden economy, one not bound by borders or banks. It is both revolutionary and dangerous, a system of freedom and anonymity, emerging wherever trust in traditional money erodes. During crises, people rediscover collective strength. Local currencies, time banks, and mutual aid groups grow rapidly. These are modern echoes of ancient barter, proving that the oldest form of economics is not profit, but cooperation. COVID-19 revealed how fragile the modern economy truly was. When cities locked down, the hidden economy thrived. Local farmers, delivery networks, freelancers, and mutual aid communities became the real infrastructure of survival. Money slowed, human exchange accelerated. As billionaires multiplied and wages stagnated, millions slipped quietly into informal existence: part-time work, cash jobs, online hustles. This is not failure, but adaptation. The hidden economy of today is a mirror, showing that while power concentrates, people innovate. Behind every digital transaction, every financial report, lies another economy, invisible, uncounted, human. It exists wherever trust in systems fades and trust in people returns. The hidden economy is not the failure of civilization. It is civilization's last defense against the failure of money. Every empire begins with faith, not in God, but in money. When that faith collapses, so does the illusion of order. In moments of hyperinflation, debt, or depression, people rediscover that value is not printed. It is created through human need. When inflation turns trillions into dust, numbers become meaningless. In Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, and modern Venezuela, citizens carried money in baskets, not as wealth, but as paper. In those moments, bread and fuel regained sacred worth. In the ruins of financial collapse, the most valuable currency is trust. When banks close, neighbors open their doors. Communities that trust one another can survive without a single coin because the human bond becomes the ledger of life. Scarcity rewires the human mind. It makes people hoard, hide, and fear. Yet it also forges creativity, a hunger to adapt. The hidden economy thrives because people learn to see value beyond money, to use skills, relationships, and ingenuity as survival tools. Long before banks, humans traded gifts, not for profit, but for connection. The act of giving created bonds stronger than contracts. The hidden economy revives this idea that the true wealth of a society is its ability to give without counting. In every hidden economy, one truth emerges. Skills are gold. A mechanic, a cook, a doctor, or a teacher, their hands and knowledge become the currency that sustains communities. When money dies, those who can do, create, and repair become the new elite. Modern capitalism teaches self-reliance, yet in collapse, it is interdependence that saves lives. The hidden economy proves that no person is self-sufficient. We are not designed to compete endlessly, we are built to cooperate endlessly. Wealth is no longer measured in currency but in resilience, the ability to endure crisis, adapt, and support others. The true rich are not those with vaults of gold, but those whose communities would never let them fall. Money is not evil, it is a mirror. It reflects what a society values most. When greed dominates, money becomes poison. When trust and cooperation return, money, or its alternatives, become tools of creation once again. Every economic collapse is also an emotional revolution. Fear, pride, and shame give way to empathy, courage, and unity. The hidden economy doesn't just rebuild trade, it rebuilds the human spirit. It reminds us that wealth without humanity is poverty in disguise. In the 21st century, money no longer clinks in pockets, it flows invisibly through code. Governments and corporations dream of a world where every transaction is traceable, programmable, and controllable. This is the new empire, not of soldiers or ships, but of algorithms. Digital currencies promise convenience but hide control. With a single command, an account can be frozen, a transaction denied, or a life erased from the system. The irony is ancient. The same empires that once demanded tribute now collect data. As control tightens, resistance grows. From blockchain projects to peer-to-peer trade, people are rediscovering the power of decentralization, the same principle that built the first barter systems. The future hidden economy may not live underground but online. Robots and AI promise prosperity, yet they also threaten to erase human labor. When work disappears, what becomes of value? The hidden economy may rise again not from necessity, but from meaning, people trading time, creativity, and purpose instead of wages. Once, markets were driven by human desire. Now algorithms decide prices, demand, and even emotion. The invisible hand of economics has become artificial, yet no program can replicate the ancient rhythm of human cooperation. All across the world, new communities are forming outside traditional systems, eco-villages, local cooperatives, off-grid networks. They represent not a rejection of modernity, but a restoration of humanity. In the silence of collapse, they are the quiet architects of renewal. Every exchange carries a moral weight. When we trade only for profit, we build empires. When we trade for need and kindness, we build civilizations. The hidden economy teaches this truth. Money divides when it rules, but unites when it serves. Every civilization collapses twice. First financially, then morally. The collapse of money is only the beginning. The greater test comes after whether we choose greed again, or evolve toward shared strength and empathy. When the last coin loses meaning, only one currency remains: humanity itself. Trust, love, creativity, and time. The uncounted riches that no government can print and no market can destroy. The hidden economy is not a return to the past. It is the rediscovery of what made us human. The story of money is the story of control. The story of the hidden economy is the story of freedom. Long after systems collapse and empires fade, humanity endures, rebuilding, trading, surviving. The hidden economy is not a shadow world. It is the light that returns when the darkness of greed consumes everything else.